Good day, and how are you doing? This is a recap of the seminar that was held on the post on the title Planning Early Greater Results, a Key to Financial Success. From the title, talking about planning, another thing to also note from the title is the timing. That is, how soon should it be? Should it be now or later? Now, the impact of those two variables on the type of result that an individual will take cognizance of these two key elements will have. Now, before you plan, there are some things that must be in place. But before I even mention that, I would love to say, I believe that you will agree with me that everybody plans. Everybody plans. Whether you're conscious of it or not, everyone plans. Whether a semi-short plan or an infancy type of plan. What do I mean by infancy? Or let me just give a picture for you to get what I'm trying to say. Any individual that leaves a position has a destination in mind. For example, you wake up in the morning and you rise from your bed, you move towards the bedroom. You cannot just walk aimlessly to the bedroom. You have something in your mind that you want to go do in the bedroom, that to pick up something to ease yourself or to freshen up, depending. After that, you might even think of taking your breakfast, or even think about clothes you wear to the place of work or to church or wherever you want to go during the day. Though you didn't have this on paper, but these are fragments of planning. So without plan, it is impossible to achieve anything significant in life. And now, from the scenario that I've created, another key thing to note is that for planning to make sense, there must be a destination in view. There must be a goal in view. So, planning with no goal is planning for planning's sake. Planning with no goal is planning for planning's sake. So, plan will not have essence. Just be a mere waste of time. So, before you can plan, or you will plan, it is essential that you have your desired goal in mind. And your goal must be SMART. It's a model that it must be specific. Specificity talks about knowing what exactly you want. Exactly. Not many things. It must be specific to a thing. For example, saying that I want to be a millionaire. Being a millionaire is not specific enough. Although it has a range, a millionaire is somebody who has at least 1 million and above, not up to 1 billion. But you must have something specific. So you can just say, I want to have 10 million naira in my account before the end of the year. That is a specific goal. And now that goal is specific, 10 million naira. It is measurable because I can quantify 10 million naira. Then it is time bound before the end of this year. So your goal must be specific. And now when you have a goal for your financial life, that is when you can now put it in planning. What am I going to do for this to be a reality? And now, even before you ask yourself that question, another thing you need to do is that you have to know your current financial state. How are you doing financially as at that moment? For you to know that, you must do a kind of self-assessment. Are you in debt? If yes, how do you want to come out of such debt? Do you have a stable income? No. If no, how do you have sources or source of income that can foot your essential need? Do you have saving? Do you have good budget plan? Those are the things that you need to do as a means of knowing your current financial state. So now, having done that, then you can now, when you know your current financial state, it will be easy for you to now create a plan towards that goal. You can now create a plan towards that goal. For any one of you listening to me who finished from a school, probably you graduated from a university, the course or the program you pick from onset is likened to a goal. Probably medicine and surgery, accounting, law, whatever. It's likened to a goal. All the lectures you take per semester over the years for that specific program, they had a plan. They had a plan designed by the school to see that if you can successfully take all these lectures one after the other, do the exam, and you have this certain grade, then you will come out being a lawyer, an accountant, a medical doctor, a nurse, or whatever the program you subscribe for in the first place. So plan is like a roadmap that leads to a destination. So if you don't have a plan for your financial life or for finances, I tell you, you are going nowhere. Planning is not a sin. For people who might want to argue or might have the mind that the Bible says somewhere that Jesus Christ saying that, worry not about tomorrow, for tomorrow will take care of itself. Planning is not worrying. Planning is an act of faith. Even God himself plans. For people who know, there's a place in the scripture that says that God speaking to Jeremiah says, before you were born, I have known you and I have ordained you as a prophet unto the nation. So God has planned out carefully the life of Jeremiah before he was conceived. God knows him. He knows what he wants him to be. So if God, the creator, could plan, to be illogical, senseless, and unwise for human to live life without plan. So it is essential that you take planning as a priority. Now, let me just quickly define some key things, some key definitions from the title that we are working with. When we talk of financial planning, it's a process of setting your goal, you create a plan to achieving them, and managing resources to execute the plan. When we talk about financial planning, we're talking about money. How do you plan your money? How do you create your money? And now the purpose is to help you, that is individual families, to achieve security and freedom throughout your lifetime. Now, there are key things that we'll be talking about now, talking about budgeting, saving, investing. So I'll just speak those three: budgeting, saving, and investing. Now, what is budgeting? Budgeting is the act of putting on paper your inflow and outflow of cash over a period of time. Budgeting is an act of putting on paper the inflow and outflow of cash over a period of time. So you put it on paper. Inflow is your income. So how much money comes to you? How much money comes to you? What are your sources of income? Are you running a job? You are running jobs. Then your outflow talks about your expenditure, your expenses, the things that you spend on, your essential needs, things that you need to spend on. It can even be your want or anything. So budgeting is neutral. It's just a sheet that helps detailing your income and your expenses, just for you to know how you are behaving financially. Just for you to know how you are behaving financially. So now, it is on the basis of that you will know your financial status, whether you are doing well or not. Now, there is a mathematical framework for that, or equation for that. One of the things I would like to share is this. If your income equals your expense, you are stagnant financially. No progress. You are just there. If your income is less compared to your expenses, you must definitely be in debt. Yeah, you must be in debt. You must be in debt. So if all you have in a month, for example, as your income, whatsoever means it's coming from, is just 100,000 naira, and your expense for the same month, for that month, is 150,000 naira. It's logical to say that you are 50,000 naira in debt. Why? Because your income is lesser compared to your expenses, and that's not a good state to be in debt. That's not a good state to be. And the third part is, if your income is far greater compared to your expenditure, that means there is growth. So the more your income is far from your expenses, the more you do well financially. So you have reserve, and that's when saving comes in. So what budgeting will help you do is to help you know whether your income equals your expenditure, or less to your expenditure, or greater to your expenditure. So that's what budgeting will help you do. And when you budget like that, you know what to adjust or to improve on. Now, when you have income that is above your expenditure, that is when you have to now save. See, saving is not optional. Saving is not what you do anytime you feel like. Saving must be part of your life. Some people think the reason why they are not saving is because their income as at present is not enough. They are thinking that when things get better, they would be able to save. Let me tell you what you don't know. If you can't do it now, it will be hard to do it later. If you can't discipline yourself, reduce unnecessary spending, focus on need and not want, so that you can have something to save, it will be difficult for you later, even when you earn more. There's a law called Parkinson law, that the higher your expenses, or the higher your income rather, the higher your income, the higher your expenses will be. So the more you earn, the more you spend. That's a Parkinson law. So as your income increases, you have the high chance to spend more. Why? Because that's when you'll be thinking that you've been suffering for a long while and you need to change status. You need to impress people. You need to live better. You need to change your wardrobe. You need to change your devices. You need to step up. That's a Parkinson syndrome, the Parkinson law. Parkinson law. So if you don't discipline yourself now with what you are earning, it will be difficult to save when you earn much more. So saving should be part of your life. Should be part of your life. And now, what is the importance of starting early? Why do you need to start focusing on what really matters early now? Why? There's a saying that goes that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is now. So why should you start early now? Why should you start now? Because you have time advantage. So more time allows you to save more and grow your money. Why should you start now? Risk management. Why should you start early? You have ability to manage risk. When you are alone, you are not yet married, you have all the time to yourself to plan things and to take risk. But now when you begin to add on, I call it add-ons. So when you marry, that's an add-ons. You have children, another add-ons. Your level of risk taking will be minimal because you have a lot of factors to consider before you can take a single step. But now that you're alone, you are free to do anything you want, take any risk you want. And as regard investment, the higher the risk, the higher the return. So when you have too much add-ons, you'll be looking for a lower risk investment, something that can preserve your capital, which will not give you chances for high return because you go for lesser risk investment. So when you start early, you have ability to manage risks better. Then habit formation, that's another key. When you start early now, you have the high chance to develop the habit faster. Habits are formed when action is repeated over time. When action is repeated concurrently, it develops into habit. So now, if you start early now and you begin to practice all these things that I've mentioned, all the essential elements that I've mentioned, with time, it will be part of you and you can live it out effortlessly. So your decision will be smart, your action will be smart, and the result also will be smart. Another reason why you should start early is because to reduce pressure. The pressure of, oh, I need to gather much money, I have this to do, I have that to do, will not be there. It won't be there. So start early now so you can have all the leisure to learn and unlearn and get the results you need to get.
So smaller consistent contribution over time are more manageable than larger catch-up and contribution later. So if you start saving now and you're saving small amount of money, it's better than when issue not emerge, financial issue emerge, and you need a large sum of amount of money to meet or address those issues. So start saving now, it will help you mitigate pressure. Start investing now, it will help you mitigate financial stress. These are very key. These are very, very important. On the Rock Pulse, we have plans for you. Plans that can help you achieve all these. The saving plan, there we have the emergency, the locked, and the fixed. Let me just quickly explain that. With the emergency, when you start this, any amount you save, you can get it out at any point in time. Just a message away from you. So when you message, you get your money, but you're saving it. So you can use that. That plan is fit for emergency need. Probably things that just surface without notice, phone damage, medical issue, or some other urgency, financial urgency. So you can use that plan for those purposes. Then also we have the locked plan. Locked plan, you can choose to lock your money for at least a month under lock plan, and at most that's left to you. Go as long as 6 months, a year, 2 years, depending on how you want it. And the amount you save there is not necessarily fixed. It's flexible. You can save 10,000 today, 5,000 tomorrow, 20,000 next tomorrow. Just keep updating it. As you keep saving, you keep getting your balance update. And when the tenure or the duration that you have chosen elapse, you can withdraw what you have in it. Another peculiarity about the lock plan is this: if the lock plan is the only plan you have with us on the Rock Pulse, and a moment of emergency surface, you can break this plan. You can break this plan. And breaking the complete condition, you pay a penalty fee of 4%. Then you have what you saved in it out immediately. No delay. Then the third plan, talking of the fixed plan under the saving plan, the fixed plan, the least you can go for on that fixed plan is 3 months. 3 months. And the most you can go for depends on you. You can go as long as 2 years, 3 years, 5, depending on you. It depends on you. Also, the saving approach is also flexible. You can save 20 today, 30 tomorrow, 40 next tomorrow, 100, depending on how you want to do that. And as you are doing it, for this plan, you will not have the privilege of breaking the plan, no matter what happened, until the set duration elapses. That's why we call it fixed. It's just there. So this is not to scare you. This is just to give you choices to choose the one that fit your financial goal. And for all these 3 plans, they have their respective interest. For emergency 0, for the lock plan, it has 8 to 10% interest per annum, but on demand for breakage before the duration elapses, other percentage will be removed and you'll be charged the 4% interest to withdraw. That is, if you are breaking the plan before maturity. And for the fixed plan, the interest on that is 15% interest per annum. 50% interest per annum on it. So for that, you cannot break this plan, so you will have your interest on what you save per annum. So that's that. Now for the investment, let's talk about the investment that we also found. Of course, for the investment, we have diverse instruments. You can venture into dollar investment, into agro investment, into shares, both international and local company share. Local company, talking of all the shares of banks in Nigeria, talking of all other companies, probably the food industry, the construction industry, just name them, from Dangote to Julius Berger to Iregu Powder to MTN to Airtel to Glo to Zenith to FCMB. Just give it a name. Any company in Nigeria that you know, their shares are available. I'm talking of international companies, talking of Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, McDonald's. Just name them. Google. No, Google is called Alphabet. So and the like. So you have privilege of getting all this investment or is instrument with your purse. So you can just message us and we'll get you started. So these are very important for you to know. Start early. Now, there are key financial planning strategies, and this is where I will stop in the key financial planning strategies. The first thing is budget creation and management. I've explained budget in a little way every time. So you need budget. What budget will do for you is that it will give you an overview in a month, an overview of what your income is and what your expenses. So what your income is and what your expenses. What your income is and what your expenses. So you will know through what channel you are making money and through what holes your money goes. And with that, you'll be able to know what you need to modify, to reduce, to increase, so you can have an healthy financial status. So to help you track income and expenses to ensure positive cash flow. Having a positive cash flow talks about your income being far greater compared to your expense. So when your income in a month is far much more compared to your expense, and say you have a positive cash flow. That's number one thing there. Then second is emergency fund establishment. Now I've mentioned the saving plan that we have. So you must have an emergency fund establishment. Just have emergency that can just meet your unexpected financial situation. It's good. Then also debt management. How do you manage your debt? There's some people who have different apps. There are many apps now that gives loan. Some people borrow money from PalmPay, from HopePay, FairMoney, and a lot of them. And this platform comes with different percentage interest on what they loan you. So, how do you manage debt? Probably you borrow money from your friend, you borrow money from PalmPay, and your friend do not even put any it's important for you to know how you manage your debts. So tackle to pay the debt of high interest first, then you can settle the one of low interest until you have no debt again. So that's very crucial. Debt management. So what can you even do to avoid debt? You can work on increasing your income. So if you increase your income, you get more skills and you earn more, you'll be able to live in a way to avoid debt. Alright, so the next thing is setting financial goals. How do you set your financial goals? Your goal must be smart. It must be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. These are the framework to setting your goal. So specific means you must have a clearly defined objective. This is what I want. This is what I want. It must be clear. That in your head you should know that this is it. Clear. Measurable is that it must be quantifiable. Give it a number. Achievable means it must be realistic and attainable within the time frame that you want to get it done. Relevant, it must align with your values, what you know you can do. You understand? Time bound, so there must be a deadline. So you set that goal with a deadline that before the end of the year, I want to have so amount in my account. For example, before the end of the year, or let's say on the 31st of December 2025, I want to have 10 million naira in my account. That's a goal. Then you now look at yourself. What skills do you have? What are your sources of income? What can you do to have much more income so that before now and 31st of December, your goal will be achievable, to be achieved. So these are the things that you must. So it must be smart, a smart goal. Then we have types of goals. You have the short term, the mid term, and the long term. The short term is a goal that spans from 0 to 2 years. Mid term spans from 2 to 5, and the long term from 5 years and above. Long term goals. So you can set goals. So it's a must to set goals. So you must have a goal. You know, when I started the other time, I said planning will be useless without a goal in mind. So you must set your goal. It's very important. So what are the key takeaways? Because I will be ending now. The key takeaways is that start early. I will repeat. The quote says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Start early. Time is your greatest asset in building wealth. From now onward, make the decision. Another key takeaway is that be consistent. Regular contributions build substantial wealth over time. So be consistent. Don't bother about the amount. Just save. Don't bother about the amount. Just invest. Be consistent. So another thing is diversify your investment. So when it comes to investment, diversify your investment. Don't invest in an instrument. Invest in instruments. Invest in different stocks, in different assets, real estate. Just invest across. Another thing is set a clear goal and adjust as needed. So if you can do this, I believe your testimony will abound. Thank you.